Hey friends, Graham here from therecordingrevolution.com, and as we're wrapping up the year, I like to look ahead at what next year should look like and how I want to improve and grow in all areas of my life. And one way I do that is by asking a really simple but important question, a question that I think is very much overlooked in the home studio. And if you have a home studio, whether you do this for fun or for profit or both, then you don't want to miss this question. And even if this isn't the new year when you're watching this, this can be applied to anything that you want to improve upon in the upcoming months, okay? The question is really twofold. It's very simple. It's what worked this year and what did not work? Okay, what worked this year and what did not work? Deceptively simple, but what these questions, or this one question, forces you to do is to look at your life with some intentionality. And most of us are really bad at intentionality. We're not intentional. We just react to life. Okay, so here's what I do in my personal life. I look at what worked this year in my personal life, my friendships, my relationship with my wife, my kids, my parents. What worked with my business? What type of products or endeavors created revenue? What kind of partnerships were good? What kind of relationships did I start that would foster good creativity in the future? In my music, what type of songs were working? What type of songwriting environment was working? For you in the studio, and for me in the studio, usually the questions are like this. What kind of recording techniques worked this year? Maybe I tried something different and it really, really worked. What did work and why? What plugins was I using that really, really worked, that I really got a good sound, I really enjoyed using them? What techniques in mixing did I implement that really seemed to work to help me get better mixes? You want to create a simple list or a document of 4, 5, 6 of these things in your studio that actually worked this year. These are fun ways to celebrate what you did this year, but think about the things that really worked well and write them down. Now the second half of the question is what didn't work. Like I said, in my life, business, I asked that same question. What didn't work with raising my kids? What didn't work with my relationship with my wife? What didn't work in business? What do I not want to repeat? What created more pain and more hurt in my life? What wasn't wise? And so you apply that in the studio. What didn't work? Was it buying stuff that I really didn't need, or that piece of gear didn't work, or that technique didn't work, or using all those plugins didn't work, or whatever it is? You know something that did not work in your home studio this year, that was frustrating, irritating, that was a time suck, that was pulling the fun out of what you were doing. Write a handful of those things down, the things that did not work in your studio. And what you will have is two lists, one list of wins and one list of losses. And you want to use that list, have it in front of you, even if it's 2 or 3 things on each side, to propel you into next year with a much more clear direction, saying, you know what, these things didn't work this past year in my studio, so I'm really going to avoid them. For me, probably this year, it's, you know what, I started to involve a lot more different plugins that I was interested in, and that made my mixing get a little less systematic. And I like to have a system so that I create consistent mixes for my clients. So as the year went on, I ventured into lots of different areas. I like to be creative and explore, but I think I did a little too much where I got a little lost in some of my mixes, and I would like to get back to more consistent mixes. So I'm going to say no to a handful of plugins and no to a handful of techniques, and kind of stick to what has worked and what I've found to has worked. So I simplify mixing. What didn't work was my old recording space, and moving to this new space is really, really going to help. So that's kind of a win. And what didn't work, so I'm going to try to do more mixing and recording in this space. It's going to propel me in the future knowing I have some plan. I can't control what's going to come down the pipeline, but I at least know what did work, and I want to repeat that this year. And what didn't work, I don't really want to repeat that. And it will get you a little further, a little faster. This is just a question that no one really takes the time to ask, because it does take time. And if you want to have a little more a firm grasp on what you're doing in your studio this next year, now towards the end of the year is the best time to ask these questions, the best time to get prepared, so that when the new year kicks in, you're really focused. You may not know exactly what you want to do all year long, but you know that you've taken away everything you can from this past year in terms of what worked and what didn't work. And that intentionality will really serve you well if you apply this question, what worked, what didn't work, to all aspects of your life. Be very honest and use it as a learning tool and as an opportunity to just grow, and as an opportunity to leave living more reactionary, like, oh, this happened today, so now I got to respond, and instead try to live in a more intentional, this is my plan, And that doesn't always work. So I'm not telling you your plans are going to always work, but I would prefer to live by moving in a direction than by being reacted to what's happening to me and my circumstances all the time. So a little outside the box for the home studio, but I use it in the studio all the time. I look at what gear purchases worked and didn't work. I look at what plugins worked and didn't work. I look at what kind of clients I worked with. Did those clients work or didn't work? And what do I want to repeat and not repeat next year? If you have any thoughts on what has worked and didn't work for you, leave a comment below this video. And if you like the videos and you want more of this kind of training, not only just the tips and tricks, but sort of the philosophy and mindsets that will help you in the studio, then please subscribe to the videos. Just hit the button up top. That'll help you get word when a new video comes live. And if you live only in YouTube land and you're only watching this in YouTube, then go over to therecordingrevolution.com, click the button in the video or below the video to get on the mailing list. There's way more content on the site. And I have a ton of free content that I only send out to your inbox. It's absolutely free. We'll dive deep into recording and mixing. It's a lot of fun, and you're missing out if you're not on the mailing list. Join those things. Get access to all the free content that the Recording Revolution has to offer. We've got a great year ahead. Looking forward to working with a lot of you, having fun, making great music, and using the tools that we have. Have a great day. We'll talk to you in another video soon.